if you are writing the JAMB examination this year, ensure you watch this video till the end. This is simply because we are going to be practicing some likely JAMB examination questions, as you can see on the board. Okay, now these questions are under the use of English. Okay, stress pattern. Now we're going to be practicing these questions and learning the rules that govern each of the answers. Okay, these questions are likely to come out this year. That is exactly why you must watch this video till the end. Now, if you're writing the JAMB examination, I want you guys to go down to the comment section and comment JAMB exam, just so that I know you're writing the examination and we can stay connected. Now, expect these questions on stress pattern to come out like these guys on the board. The first one, we're having nationalism. Okay, now notice how I put an SM on top of the first question. This is simply because words ending with SM, they are stressed exactly the same way. Example of words ending with SM, we have nationalism, as you can see on the board. Question 2, we have tribalism. Question 3, we have nepotism. Okay, question 4, we could have communism. Okay, all of these guys are stressed the same way. That is, the stress is shown in a particular pattern. That is why we are saying for any word at all that ends with SM, it is always what now stressed the same way. Now look at the first question on the board. Nationalism. Where will the stress lie? Option A, nationalism, MA is stressed. Option B, nationalism, TION is stressed. Option C, nationalism, AL is stressed. And option D, nationalism, ISM is stressed. It is very important that you know what stress pattern is, okay, before you attempt a particular question. Now, when we talk about stress pattern, we are talking about the syllable of that word where we lay the most emphasis on, okay, the place or the part of the word where we shout the most, okay, where we increase our intonation pattern the most. That is the point where we call the word now the stress, okay. We use more energy to pronounce that part. Example, occupation. What part of that word do I lay more emphasis on? We are going to get to that. But for this one, I have what now? Nationalism. So to stress nationalism, do we stress it as nationalism or nationalism or nationalism? How do we do it? Okay, now it is very easy. If you are in an exam situation or condition, you don't have to start disturbing your neighbor pronouncing these words in the JAMB examination hall. That's not how it works. Okay, what you should be doing is knowing the rule or learning the rule to all of these things so that you don't have to pronounce them. Because the real truth is, for you to pronounce a word, it is important that you know the way you stress the word before learning how to pronounce it. Although you might not be taught this while you are still young, simply because you get to learn these things as you grow older, okay, or as you move higher in your various classes. Okay, now for nationalism, let's go straight to the point. How do we stress this guy? Kindly take note that whenever a word ends with SM, the stress is always on the first syllable. That is the first syllable. Okay, the first syllable is formed by combining the first set of consonants and vowel together. Okay, the first set of consonants and vowel together. Now in this case, we're having na. That's the first consonant and the first now vowel. Na. Okay, so it means that na is the first syllable in this guy here, and it is what we are going to stress. Okay, now to stress this guy or to pronounce it, it becomes what now? Nationalism. That means the stress or emphasis will be laid on what now? NA, nationalism. That is why option A is the right answer. Nationalism, NA is stress. Now this is actually a general rule. It is a general rule simply because for any word that ends with SM, we figure out the stress to be on the same word now, syllable. That is the first syllable. You should know what syllable is. Okay, syllables are formed whenever we break word into units in order for us to what now pronounce them. Take notes. Okay, in this case, you might ask yourself, how many syllables does nationalism have? Okay, we have na-sho-na-li-zim. Okay, that's 5 syllables. Okay, so nationalism has what now? 5 syllables. Now, to break this down, we'll have what now? Nationalism, and NA is stressed. That is option A. Okay, now the next question on the board, we're having what now? Tribalism. How is tribalism being stressed? Where is the emphasis laid on? Take notes. JAMB is going to ask you likely examination question. Okay, we're having tribalism. TRI is stressed. Option B, tribalism. BAL is stressed. Option C, tribalism, ISM is stressed. Option D, tribalism, LISM is stressed. So what is the correct answer to this question? I gave you the rule from question 1 that whenever a word ends with SM, we are always going to stress what now? The first syllable. Okay, in this case, we're having tribalism. Don't pronounce it in your JAMB examination. No, you are going to be disturbing your neighbor. For your neighbor, like I said, I'll give a very dirty slap for disturbing me. Okay, so learn the law rather than what now? Disturbing your neighbor in the JAMB examination. So you have what now? Tribalism. And TRI is being what now? Stressed. That's tribalism. Okay, so option what now? Option A is the right answer. We have what now? Tribalism and TRI is stressed. Now, question 3. Okay, question 3 on the board gives us what now? Nepotism. Nepotism. Now, how is nepotism being stressed as a word? The same rule applies. But before I rehearse the rule with you guys again, what do you think will be the answer? I would like you guys to pause the video, in fact, and attempt question 3, okay? Nepotism. Where do you think nepotism is going to be stressed, okay, according to the rule I've given you guys? Okay, is it option A, is it option B, option C, or option D? You can pause the video and attempt the question, drop it in the comment section, and once they are done, you play the video to see the right answer to this question on the board. Okay, now I'll go straight to picking the answer. Nepotism is stressed on the first syllable. Take note, nepotism is stressed on the first syllable, and that is what now? Ne. Okay, so we have what now? Nep. Okay, potism. Now, some persons might be confused as if this guy is going to be stressed as ne, okay, or nep. The truth is, whenever I want to stress a word, it is not compulsory that we break it down using what now? Syllables form. That is, for us to stress a word, we must not break it into units, okay, creating the number of syllables before we pick the stress part. The stress part is just according to the rule. That is, because it ends with SM, the first syllable you will pronounce is where you should stress. So even if you are pronouncing it as ne, you should lay emphasis on it. If you are pronouncing it as nep, NEP, okay, you should lay emphasis on what now? Nep. That is, it becomes what now? Nepotism. If that's what you want to do, no problem. But make sure you lay emphasis on the first syllable that you create while you are trying to what now? Pronounce it. That is the rule. Okay, so in this case, even if you find an option that is what now? Laying emphasis on NEP, okay, or NE, both of them are correct. And I know smart examiners like the JAMB board will not give you both of these in an option, okay? So the first syllable is stressed, and that is what now? NEP, net. Option what now? Option A. Very, very easy. Okay, now the next question on the board, we are having words ending with IST. How do we stress words that are ending with IST? Okay, we're having a question here, question 4. Industrialist, okay? Option A, industrialist, IN is stressed. Option B, industrialist, okay? DUS is stressed. And we're having option C, TRI is stressed. And option D, IST is stressed. Like I will always tell you guys, it is by knowing the rule that you pronounce this word. You don't get the rule by pronouncing it. Okay, we have to know the rule. Then from the rule, we are going to stress the word. We don't know the word, and then from the pronunciation, we get the rule. That's not how it works. Okay, if not, you are most likely to fail questions like these. Okay, now, how do we stress words ending with IST? Example, industrialist. Okay, now, the rule is also stating that whenever we are to stress a word that ends with IST, we are going to lay emphasis on the first syllable. Okay, lay emphasis on the first syllable. That is, the intonation pattern will be the highest on the what now? On the first syllable. Industrialist. That's why it is being pronounced. I'm not saying you should reduce your voice, but rather the emphasis should be on what now? IN. And that is what now? Obviously, option A. You can say that the rule is similar with what the first rule we talked about. That is what now? Words ending with SM. Even with this, we can then get a general formula. Since the stress is always on the first syllable, we can say that the formula is what now? Stress, okay, plus any syllable can come in between. All of these could be 3-4 syllable. Okay, in this case, for example, we're having na, that's the stress. Okay, sure, na, li. Okay, all of that are the syllables in between. Okay, and then it must end what now? SM. Okay, that's the trick. You can take note of this formula. Okay, if you want to learn it, make sure you learn it very well. Okay, now industrialist. The rule is also saying that we are going to stress what now? The first syllable. That is in this case in. Now look at the next question. The next question on the board, question 5, we're having activist. How do we stress activist? Option A, activist. Option B, activist. Okay, activist. And we're having what now? Activist. Now look at this one. We're having TRIbalism, stress. We're having two parts of the syllable, stress. What I want you guys to take note of is that whenever you have to stress a word, we must always have one part of the word stressed. One part of the word should be stressed. It can never be more than one part. Take note. So from this particular question, you can see that option D is already out of it. Okay, we cannot have what now? T and what now? Vist, both stressed. Okay, so option D is already out of it. That is one bonus mark for you guys. Okay, an easy way of removing some wrong options. Okay, although the best way for answering questions on stress pattern is actually to know the rule rather than eliminating options. You don't know that, you just know the rule. Okay, now for activists, follows the question 4 as arc is being what now? Stressed. That is the first syllable. In this case, we're having what now? AC. Arc. Okay, that is what option A. Very, very easy. Okay, now question 6 on the board, we're having socialist. Notice how I have specifically brought out these 3 questions. This is because JAMB has repeated this one multiple times in the examination. So if you have to encounter any of these kinds of questions in the examination hall, it has to be either of these 3. Take note. So I have what now? Socialist, for example. Socialist. How do we stress socialist? Okay, now because it is ending with IST, it is ending with IST just like its other ones. Okay, it is ending with IST. We are going to lay emphasis on what now? So what now? Stressed. Okay, so we are going to pick the option that has what now? SO, stressed. Looking at the various options, we're having socialist, LIST, stressed. B, socialist, CIA, stressed. C, socialist, SO, stressed, which is our answer. Okay, most times C is always correct. Okay, and we're having what now? Socialist. Please take note that simply because I said C is always correct does not mean you should go to the examination hall that study and start picking C. I'm just saying it. Okay, that was just a joke. Okay, now option C is the correct answer. Okay, so here you go. Now, how about the formula for this guy? It also follows the same pattern. Okay, so for this one, where it's ending with IST, we can have a formula of the stress, which is the first syllable, okay, plus any syllable can come in between, plus IST. This can be a formula you can make use of. Take note, this can be a formula you can make use of. Okay, very, very easy. Now, let us now move on to the next set of questions on the board. Notice how in this group we're having prefix and SM. Okay, we have talked about words ending with what now? SM. In this case, we're having what now? Both prefix and what now? SM in that particular word. Now, what is a prefix? A prefix is simply a letter or group of letters added to the beginning of a word. Okay, usually to change its meaning. Most times it is there to make it negative. That is the opposite of that word. Example, we're having what now? Possible. If you put IM in front of possible, it becomes what now? Impossible. Okay, so IM in that case is a prefix. Now, I'm not saying generally that whenever there's a prefix in front of a word, any word at all, that there's a pattern I'm going to stress it. Take note, this rule I'm giving, it works for what now? SM. It works for SM. If it works for any other word, I'm still going to attach it to that particular word. Just like this one, we're having what now? Prefix and IST. So take note of the rules. Okay, so for words ending what now? SM, and they're having a prefix. Other examples of prefix could include RE. Example, we're having revivalism and we're having RE in front. Becomes what now? Revivalism. Okay, so the rule is going to what now? Change. We do not just what now? Stress it according to this first pattern. Okay, other examples could include pan. Okay, could include anti. Okay, example, we have courtism and we have what now? Anti-courtism. Okay, take note of that. Now, what is the rule saying? Whenever we're having a prefix and also SM, okay, we're having prefix in front of a word that ends with SM. What is the rule? We are going to ignore the prefix. That is, we are going to remove the prefix and stress it in the same rule that we're having here. What is the trick? We are going to cancel as the prefix and then we are going to fall back to this rule. That is, we are going to act like we do not see a prefix in the word. Okay, example, revivalism. Okay, revivalism. How do we stress this guy? Revivalism is a word. Now, RE is a prefix. Because we are seeing RE as a prefix, we are going to cancel it. Okay, we are going to what now? Cancel it. So also going to the options and cancel them as well. Cancel it cancel it, and cancel it. Why? RE is a prefix, and the word is what? Ending with SM. Okay, so how do you stress it? We fall back to the same rule. Whenever you have to stress a word that ends with SM, you have to what now? Stress the first syllable. What is the first syllable? Okay, in this case, we're having what now? VI, vi. Okay, vivalism. Hence, option B is the right answer. You might not get the whole picture yet. That is why there is another example here. In this case, Africanism is a word, and then pan is a prefix. Take note. If you did not know before, take note now. That is why you are here to learn. Okay, pan is a prefix. It can also be used as a prefix. Okay, so we have pan-Africanism. Hence, this pan here is a what now? Is a prefix. And the rule says, because we are having a prefix in front of a word that ends with SM, cancel out the prefix and then stress it following the normal rule. So for a word that ends with SM, what do? We stress the first syllable, right? So for Africanism, what is the rule? We stress what now? R. Okay, R is being stressed. So which of these options has R as what now? Stressed. Which of these options has R stressed? Okay, that should be option A. We're having pan stressed, so we know we're going to remove this one. Option B, we're having CA stressed. This one is already out. We're having RI stressed. We know that RI is out. I'm having NI. Now notice that there is actually none of the above here that is being stressed. Okay, none of the above, which means the correct form of pan-Africanism to stress it should be pan. Okay, Africanism. Okay, that is the correct form. So we can call this option E. That's the correct form of stressing pan-Africanism. Okay, these options actually have mistakes simply because no one indicates the rule. Okay, so because it ends with SM, we're going to what now? Ignore PAN, and then we're going to stress what now? A. Okay, that's A. Okay, take note of the rule. Now, how about the next set of problems on the board? Prefix and IST. How do we stress words with prefix and IST? Okay, that is words ending with IST and they're having prefix. Same thing as this guy. We are going to ignore the prefix and then we are going to stress what now? It following the normal rule. I said something initially. This doesn't mean that anytime we notice a prefix in front of a word, we just go ahead and remove it. That is why I give an example. Impossible. Impossible is a word. Okay, even when IM is a prefix, we do not just go ahead and remove it to stress. This rule I am giving, it only works for what now? SM and IST. For other words having prefix, I will give you the rules as well. But for SM and IST, take note of the word now of the prefix and this rule. So kindly take note that it is not all words that have prefix that will just what now remove the prefix. In this case, for SM and IST, we must remove the word now, the prefix. That is the rule for this particular word now, words. Okay, so prefix and IST. And in this case, we're having pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist. Notice how I've seen it already that in this option, there is no word now R that is being stressed, which means there's also another error in this particular question. Okay, JAMB makes error sometimes. Okay, but that doesn't mean you should leave the options or you should leave your answer unpicked. Make sure you pick a particular option. Okay, even if the answer is wrong and you know, ensure you pick a particular option. Okay, so for pan-Africanist, we know that pan is the word now, is the prefix, right? So we're going to what now? Cancel it. What becomes the word? The first label, that's Africanist. Where's ending with what now? With IST. When it's ending with IST, the first label is stressed. Okay, so for Africanist, R is being stressed. Hence, the correct stress of this word, all these other options becomes wrong. All these other options becomes wrong. And the correct way of stressing it becomes what now? Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist, okay? This is how it is being stressed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just part 1. It doesn't end here. There's always more to learn. Now, in my part 2 video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to stress more words that usually comes out in the JAMB examination. Also, some likely examination questions. Okay? Now, this is part 1. Once you're done watching it, ensure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, Dr. Flash. Also, click on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be one of the first 2 persons that will get notified about it. Once you're done watching it, simply go to my page, okay, and then look for the part 2 of this video to watch. Help yourself pass the JAMB examination and see you in the next video.